Every single time I do a Sims 4 pack wishlist video, they normally get less and less enthusiastic each time, and that's because Sims 4 pack seems to be getting smaller and more limited in terms of gameplay. For example, the more recent Sims 4 businesses and hobbies pack, which didn't really come with any brand new hobbies, which kind of defeated the point of the whole entire pack. So today I'm trying quite hard to be relatively modest in terms of my expectations and ideas. These are just some things that we haven't had that I think we probably will get, especially considering now The Sims 4 is the only Sims game now forever. We're never getting a Sims 5. It's just going to be Sims 4 expansion packs until the day we all die. So they've got to do it, you know, at least one of my ideas eventually. So welcome to my PowerPoint presentation. Don't ask why there are pillboxes. I have not used PowerPoint in years. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like when I was a kid, I was such a pro, but then anyway, get trumpets. Everybody wants a band pack. Everybody's talking about the idea of a band pack, and they have been doing so honestly for years, pretty much ever since The Sims 4 first came out. So I think it's important to actually talk about bands and how I think they could be implemented in the game, because you couldn't just have musical instruments. So the first thing that came to my mind, okay, is a recording studio, because you can't just have people playing instruments together and calling it a pack. What you could do is integrate a feature that we had in The Sims 1, The Sims Superstar, which was the ability to actually record music. This would be recording your vocals in the recording machine, editing a song, and then creating samples and selling them maybe, and even recording audio books if your sim is an author, just saying it's like a bonus side thing. We do technically have the mixing station, like the Mix Master or something it's called in Get Famous, but that's more so about producing beats for tracks, whereas this would be more about actually recording a full song, and maybe not just recording vocals, but even recording instruments. I think there's a lot they could do with that added to a pack like this, where you could actually become a professional musician or singer. Obviously, we would need brand new instruments, although The Sims 4 Businesses and Hobbies is a hobbies pack that didn't actually come with new hobbies. It just relied on hobbies from other packs. So for all we know, The Sims 4, honestly, it would genuinely not surprise me if EA released a music pack and they didn't add brand new musical instruments. Like, the bar is so low that truly would not surprise me. But if they were feeling moderately, I don't know, proud of themselves, moderately ambitious, they had even a tiny bit of respect for their player base, they would at least add one musical instrument, even if it was just the triangle, guys. Do you remember the triangle at school? Because I was a loser and a bit of a dork, I always ended up with the triangle, unfortunately. But there's just so much I think they could do. They probably won't, as I said, when we do get the bands pack, we'll probably get no new musical instruments at all. Probably be the same old bass game guitar, but just being hopeful. It seems like an obvious one, but I don't know, to EA, I think they really need us to explain that a music pack should come with new my necklace broke. It should come with new music. That teaches me for buying H&M shit. Anyway, what's the next slide? I don't know, because I did all these pretentious fades. Oh, careers. That's it. A freelance entertainer career, which I feel like would work well in a pack like this. Not just, I use the term entertain here because it could mean like a freelance singer, a freelance guitarist, or it could, I don't know, okay, but I just feel like freelance in some kind of respect would be good. Another one is professional band gigs. So, you know, we have like the gig mechanic. We have this with the Sims 4 Dream Home Decorator stuff, where it's like it comes with the gigs. Even in the base game, the self-employed freelance careers come with gigs. I feel like maybe they could add music gigs and add like a music venue lot type. And in that lot type, you like perform professionally. I think that could work very well. Next, we've got music teacher, which I think could be a rabbit hole career, which I think could be good, but also it could integrate with the base game or the business hobbies tutoring system. I think it could work. And also a radio presenter as a rabbit hole career. I think something like that would work very well. So I definitely think they have lots of options in terms of a career and music. There's so many more, but these are just some basic ones. And then obviously how it was done before. So in The Sims 3, we did actually have bands that came in the late night pack. The late night pack was a pack all about, well, it was like The Sims 4 City Living and Vampires and the not yet released Bands pack and Vintage Glamour stuff and Get Famous all just kind of combined into one. So Bands were just a minor feature of that pack, but obviously in The Sims 4 they'll turn it into they'll make a big deal out of it, won't they? So I definitely think they would have to do more with Bands than The Sims 3 Late Night, because the Late Night didn't really come with that much Bands gameplay. It was more so just you play stuff in synchrony together. In The Sims 3 Showtime we didn't have Bands, but it did come with singing live on a stage, which is something that they could implement in terms of like a music venue, in terms of like a festival, because we have actually had a festival in The Sims before, you know, in The Sims 4. It's called Sim Sessions or something, like a few years ago now. So in terms of issues, trying to get multiple Sims to do something together at the same time, like it's pretty much not happening. The Sims 4 My Wedding Stories was diabolical. The Sims 4 Life and Death actually made funerals, and unlike weddings, funerals work a little bit better, but they're still not perfect. How are you going to get a load of Sims, not just like 2 to 5 Sims to perform on a stage together? You've also got to get the audience, okay, to watch the music show. Is this really going to work as a pack concept? My genuine theory as to why EA haven't done it yet is because they genuinely just can't like code it in properly. Like it wouldn't work, it would be diabolical. So I think that's a very huge issue. Also, how are they going to do this in terms of like thinking about a world, thinking about creating sim and build stuff? Like we know EA love to, you know, isolate very tiny gameplay concepts into big expansion packs and bloat them with custom built stuff in the world, but how on earth are they going to do that with a pack concept like this? It would just be so hard for them to do. So I definitely think, even though this is very well wishlisted, because EA is so cash grabby, they're kind of self-sabotaging in their ability to make a pack like this, just because I feel like they'd be too limited with it. And also The Sims 4 would not be able to handle all of that animation. It wouldn't be able to handle all that actions and the simulation. I think it would just be too much for the game. So even though I would like it, I definitely think it would come with a lot of issues. Anyway, get real. This is my unofficial fan-made pack cover for a reality TV show pack, and my prediction is we are going to be getting this, and that's because EA did actually do a pack survey about this, a very recent pack survey where they spoke about the idea of having a reality TV show in The Sims 4. This is also my most wishlisted thing, because I personally have loved reality TV shows ever since I was a kid, and I remember when I used to play The Sims 2 when I was younger, I actually used to make the Big Brother house in The Sims 2, and I just shoved a load of Sims in there and I made them do like tasks and stuff. I wasn't very good at it because I was like 10 years old or whatever, but still the thought was there and it was a very fun idea for me. What I'm not talking about, by the way, just to confirm, is yet another disaster Sims reality TV show sparked. The Sims 4 is so inherently boring that they couldn't even make a reality show about The Sims 4 very fun. So we'll move on from that. But in terms of real life reality shows, okay, we've got the dating shows. Okay, we all know what the dating shows are. You guys know what Love Island is. Love Island is basically Britain's biggest export at this point. We've also got Drag Race, which I feel like would be a really fun inclusion into The Sims. And then we've got game shows like the UK. British people love game shows. I don't know how popular they are in other countries, like the quiz ones. That's kind of what I mean. And then we've got like reality is in Big Brother. We've got the cooking shows. We've got like the physical challenges. Does anybody remember Fort Boyard, or is that too British? Kind of like, I don't know what the American equivalent of those kinds of shows is. I'm sorry. The Traitors. There are so many different kinds of reality show ideas, and I feel like EA would have to release like a dating show and a physical obstacle course show and like a generic one like Big Brother and maybe Drag Race. I feel like they would have to include a couple, although this is EA, so maybe if they did do this pack it would just include one, and if it did just include one, I'd rather a generic one like Big Brother, because I feel like that's more broadly appealing and it's not necessarily a theme. In terms of new gameplay objects, so I would like to see like objects which require some kind of challenge. Do you guys remember the dance sphere? Basically every Sims game apart from The Sims 4, EA seem to have forgotten about this object, probably because their turnover's so high. Oh, we skipped ahead. You didn't see that. So I feel like it would be a great way to bring back the sphere as like a challenge object. I've just included also the walking on fire object from The Sims 3, but they could also include brand new objects or obstacle course kind of things, which involve like doing challenges, which is what you would see in a reality TV show. And it is so open-ended. And then obviously Obviously, we would need cameras. That's an obvious one. I feel like it's not an object, but I feel like we would need maybe a brand new reality TV show on the like Sims TV where you can actually watch your real Sims. Oh, maybe that's too ambitious. I just feel like there is so much that they could do. What will they do is a different story. But I would say this is why I genuinely think this pack could work, because EA these days, I don't know if you noticed, but in recent Sims 4 packs, they don't really add brand new objects anymore. They just add brand new UI elements. It's like the Sims 4 businesses and hobbies. All it really comes with is just like UI. It doesn't actually come with any new gameplay. It just recycles like existing gameplay, if you know what I mean. So I feel like this is the kind of pack that could recycle existing gameplay, and EA could just copy and paste the coding from a pack like businesses and hobbies with the different actions and stuff that you have to do, and it would come with like maybe a voting UI or like an eviction thing or something like that. I just feel like this would be a very UI heavy pack rather than a gameplay pack, and this is definitely the Sims 4 strong suit because it's ironically as a game it doesn't have much gameplay. It does have a lot of UI, and I feel like they could, you know, EA would have a ball creating lots of new UI for this pack like they usually do with their expansions. And obviously another thing that they seem to have a fetish for right now is room types. These started with the Sims 4 for rent, where you could set an area as residential or shared. Then in businesses and hobbies, you can now separate an area as shared, residential or business. So why not create your own reality TV show lot type with different rooms for different functions? I feel like that could work. I feel like this is maybe a little bit of an ambitious pack concept, but I definitely think they could do it if they tried. And this is probably my number one requested pack because I just think it would be so cool. My first Gucci. So this was a flop. Moschino stuff. Okay, I'm not against Moschino in real life. Like, I don't think it's bad. I like the Moschino perfume. I don't actually think Moschino clothes are bad, mostly. I think it's an all right brand, but this collab, it was just absolutely diabolical. EA did such a bad job. It was a fashion pack, and it came with more build mode stuff than fashion stuff. And the fashion stuff that was there felt more like an advertisement for Moschino rather than actually feeling like a proper Sims pack that was made for the players, especially considering that modeling is a very big fan requested feature, and this pack only came with a glorified fashion photography career, which was basically just like base game photography. They just didn't do a very good job with the Moschino stuff, and it's been so long since that pack has been out. I feel like it's time to move on now and do more fashion, because EA is not afraid to do the same thing over and over again. That's why we've got a country kitchen kit as well as a country expansion pack, and why we've got a stuff pack about health and fitness as well as a game pack about health and fitness. That's why we've got a million business packs. EA are happy to recycle, so I'm sure they could recycle fashion and modeling. Also, because Moschino stuff is a brand collab, that means that it's suffering from contract terms and limitations that wouldn't have existed if it wasn't a real brand, which is why I think they need to redo the concept with like fake designer brand. So a fashion pack. Obviously we would need a runway live modeling career. I feel like that's an obvious one. I feel like if they did do a runway, it would have to be like an object or like a set space, kind of like with the Sims 4 Get to Work the Hospital, where it's like it exists and you can't change it. Same with the Sims 4 Life and Death Grim Reaper career building. The runway would just be a set building that doesn't change, and then you would go there and you would walk the catwalk, and it would be a skill in the career, and you would select gigs maybe. And then this would obviously, I think, be in addition to doing photo shoots in a proper photo studio. And then we would have fashion designer rabbit hole career with live elements. And what I mean by a rabbit hole career with live elements is like technically a career that you can disappear into, but you can do the work from home. They did this very well with the Sims 4 City Living with the career to become a president, and you actually have to like protest in the street and stuff. They also did a similar thing with the Sims 4 Eco Lifestyle, where they had a rabbit hole career about like working in the community as like a town planner, but there's a lot of live stuff that you do as well. And I think a fashion designer would work really well with a tailoring skill and a sewing machine and like mannequins and the ability to actually make your own clothes, because we don't have that in the Sims 4 yet. Something that we saw in Inzoi, for example, is the ability to actually mix and match, for example, different sleeve lengths combining to a top, or different crops of a certain top, different texture materials that you can apply. Imagine applying that gameplay concept into the Sims 4, where you can actually tailor and create your own own custom clothes and even share them on the gallery, which I just think would be really cool. And another thing that I would like to see is a clothes boutique as a proper community lot where you could actually purchase these custom clothes, although that one's probably the biggest push. So in terms of gameplay objects, like I said, it would need sewing, it would need new mannequins. The get to work mannequins are just for selling clothes. I mean, like one of those like mannequins where you like stitch and design clothes on. I feel like those would work really well. And we would also need the runway, which I think could be okay. Although obviously this is The Sims 4. Would a runway like modeling thing work very well? I just don't know how well it would work. You'd have to wait and see how they would implement it, but I feel like there's something they could do even with The Sims 4's limitations. And in terms of a world, okay, something that EA's never done before. They've never done Monaco, they've never done Dubai. I feel like Monaco is one of those places where it's full of like, you know, it's basically just full of like sugar daddies and sugar babies, like a lot of fashion there, a lot of sports cars. I feel like something like that could work really, really well in The Sims 4. Another thing I think could work really, really well is a world like Dubai. I feel like that's an obvious one. I feel like EA would be really tempted to make it French because they're American, but I definitely think that a French fashion world would just be too cliche, cringe, and pretty terrible. I definitely think they would need to be smarter about it. I just feel like Monaco would be the number one choice for me, but I also think Dubai would be good. I just feel like a fashion pack would just be really fun. I don't know if you guys agreed. I just want to say as well, okay, when I say fashion as well, with The Sims 4 Get Famous, it came with like really ugly, horrendous fashion. So did Moschino stuff. High fashion doesn't have to be eccentric, over the top, distorted, weird looking. It can also be quite classy. And I feel like maybe they need to do a little bit of both so that you can enjoy different kinds of fashion styles, especially considering we've got so many clothes in this game now, especially with all the kits. There's too much fashion. Another thing that I didn't mention is I did include a Victoria's Secret picture. Maybe they could do something like that, like underwear. I also included an Hermes bag. Maybe they could introduce accessories like bags in. I don't know. Anyway, I also asked ChatGPT and it came up with a concept called Dream Realms. This is, okay, I've just copied it and we're gonna see if ChatGPT can do a good job, because EA actually did a couple of surveys recently and I'm pretty convinced that they used ChatGPT to come up with the pack concept surveys for those. So let's have a look. This pack, what was it called? Dream Realms. This is my blind reaction. I copied it in, but I didn't read any of it. A dream exploration system. When Sims sleep, they enter dream realms based on their mood, life events, or aspirations. So this would be kind of like The Sims 3 Into the Future, but instead of Into the Future, it's Into the Dreams. Fully playable worlds that change every night. The liminal and eerie surreal maze. Wish Wild, a fantastical world reflecting hopes. The Mirror Place, a distorted version of The Sims real home. Night Route, nightmare dimension fueled by trauma, fear, or regret. Each dream impacts the Sims' waking life with dream traits, moods, and even skill boosts or drains. Lucid dreaming skill. New skill allows Sims to control dream content over time. Fly, teleport, summon dream people, face repressed memories, alter the world intentionally. That's a really interesting idea. It also says high skill needs a dream mastery. Choose the dream, interact with the dream versions of Sims, access dream only collectibles. The sleep wake ecosystem. See, this would genuinely be something that EA would do, because EA loves this. They hate adding new gameplay features, but they love adding new systems and UI. So this would come with the sleep wake ecosystem. Decisions or events in the dream realm ripple into waking life. A Sim might overcome fear of public speaking after resolving a dream conflict. That's a pretty cool idea, actually. Making peace with a deceased loved one. That's a cool idea. Recurring nightmares could lead to insomnia or even phobias. Introduces a sleep wellness mechanic. Oh god. Dream quests. That's interesting. Procedural story-based dreams with multiple outcomes. Sims might relive a moment from childhood and alter it, explore a metaphorical castle representing their ego, escape a time loop dream scenario, participate in subconscious rebellion against their own fears. I don't know how that would work. I don't think that sounds like a very good idea personally. Anyway, it would come with a new world, Somnium Springs, a beautiful but uncanny town subtly warped by dream energy, glowing flora, oddly shifting buildings, and an ever-changing skybox hint at its dream dreamlike influence. There would be 12 lots, 4 residential, including 1 in a sleep clinic apartment tower, 2 starter homes, 1 sleep wellness retreat like a spa, a community library, a dream research lab, a new career lot, a park and a coffee bar, and a surreal secret lot access through the lucid dream. That's very specific. Create a sim. We'd have 4 traits: a daydreamer, a dream chaser, a restless sleeper, and a mindful train. I feel like a daydreamer would actually be a really good trait. Somebody who actually goes into what is it called? Maladaptive daydreaming. That's what I do. It's like my way of stimming. A dream chaser gains special awards from completing dream trust. A restless sleeper has more nightmares but faster lucid skill growth. And then we've got mindful, less likely to have chaotic dreams. Gosh, that wouldn't be me. I don't know about anyone else, but I always wake up in the middle of the night with night sweats and nightmares constantly. Welcome to being anxious. Anyway, new aspirations. Oh, dream walker. Experience all types of dream realms and master lucid dreaming. Subconscious architect, build and control your own dream world. Face your fears, resolve nightmare events to strengthen your sim. Cool ideas, I like them. Then the cast style: ethereal fashion, flowing robes, celestial makeup, sleepwear, sleek modern retro mystical comfy grunge. So they basically put one of everything. Fantasy like elements with glowing eyes. I think the cast idea sounds like a flop, but I think a couple of the traits sound good. And then we've got build mode style, which will be surrealism meets sleep science, soft curves floating like strange Texas dreamy aesthetics, floating beds. Gosh, it sounds awful, doesn't it? Key objects: dream pod, a high-tech bed like we've got in Get Famous, a sleep mask mirror, allowing access to dream quests after waking, a dream journal, store memories and collect fragments of reoccurring dreams, aromatherapy diffuser, we've already got a load of those. And then we've got a career system, new active career, a dream researcher, work at the dream research lab, analyze dream reports, develop sleep therapies, guide sims into lucid dreams. That sounds like making content for the sake of making content. I don't like the idea with that, to be honest. Then this is integration with base game and packs, but I think they're just talking a bit of shit here, to be honest. Why it would be popular: completely unique, no Sims gamers explore dreams. That's true. Inzoi is. Offers new narrative and storytelling tools, integrates psychology, fantasy and personality in a deep way. Highly replayable due to procedurally generated dream experiences. EA like love AI, like they don't like the future is AI. This is like every company's brand new slogan, and EA obviously agrees. So maybe they could do AI, because dreams kind of look like AI anyway. Maybe we would have AI procedurally generated dreams every night in game. Imagine that. Imagine the energy wastage. Jesus. I personally don't think it would be that popular. I think if this came out, everybody would be like, what the fuck? I don't think anybody would enjoy it. Anyway, that's the end of the slideshow. You guys let me know what you think your favorite pack idea was. Mine was reality TV show, but I would also really love the modeling pack as a close second for me. You guys let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.